This lesson's concerned with making comparisons between data sets by looking at the data in the form of different types of plots. We can display two sets of data using a stem and leaf plot and look at the shapes and other features of these two plots to compare the data sets. Here we're given information about boys and girls and their spending on a day at Dreamworld. To find the modal amount, we look for the score with the highest frequency in both sets of data. So we can see here that the mode is 28. To calculate the mean for the girls, we add together all of the scores and then divide by 20 since there are 20 scores in this set. This gives us a mean of $18 for the girls to the nearest whole dollar. We do the same for the boys, dividing this time by 24 since there are 24 boys in this set of data. We get a mean of $25 to the nearest whole dollar for the boys. To calculate the overall mean, we add together the total for the number of girls and the number of boys and then divide by the total number of people. Overall, our mean is $22 to the nearest whole dollar. Looking at the shape of the data for the girls, we can see that these scores are positively skewed since the tail points in the positive direction. The boys' scores, on the other hand, have the tail pointing in the negative direction, so we can say that this data is negatively skewed. The shape of this data shows that the boys spent more overall. We can also compare the boys and the girls' means from our previous calculations to confirm that the boys spent more overall, with a mean of $25 for the boys compared with just $18 for girls. Box and whisker plots or box plots may also be used to compare two sets of data. A box and whisker plot is a graphical way of displaying a 5-number summary which consists of the lowest score, the lower quartile, the median, the upper quartile and the highest score. The box in the center represents 50% of the data, while each of the tails represents 25%. Using the data in this table, we're asked to compare these two salespeople using a box and whisker plot. To begin with, we'll find the 5-number summary for Kyle. So start by listing the scores in order. Identify the minimum, the lower quartile, the median, the upper quartile, and the maximum. This gives us our 5-number summary for Kyle. We now do the same thing for Brooke. Listing the scores in order, finding the lowest score, the lower quartile, the median, the upper quartile, and the highest score. These now need to be drawn side by side on the same set of axes. So here we can see our box plots for Kyle and Brooke. Using results from our previous questions, we can calculate the interquartile range for Kyle by subtracting our lower quartile from our upper quartile to give us 11. The interquartile range for Brooke is calculated by subtracting 8 from 24 to give us an IQR of 16. Here are the calculations for the median from the previous question. So Kyle's median is 12.5 and Brooke's median comes out the same as 12.5. Looking at the data compared in this way, we can clearly see that their medians are identical. Kyle's spread of data is a little less than Brooke's, as his interquartile range and his range are both smaller. Although Kyle has a smaller IQR and a smaller range, it doesn't necessarily mean that he's the better salesperson. He is more consistent, but Brooke has the same median as him, so overall we can say that they're about equal in terms of their salesmanship.